Live from the Las Vegas Strip studio in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, it's Bettor Center Live. I'm your host, Brad Stein. You can watch us daily, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. On the weekends, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, hosted by Louis Diamond I. Also, check us out on bettorcenter.com, on YouTube at Louis Diamond, and Facebook. We have four professional sports handicappers right here to give us a little advice, to teach us a little bit, but more importantly, to help us make money. What a great show, right? Great concept. Can't wait. Special guest today, Paul Bovey. Might have heard of him. He likes to talk football. He's going to break down some football. Plus, our man on the street. He's back, and he's at the dog pound. Is he getting a new golden doodle? Where is he? We'll find out next. That's coming up real soon. But let's introduce those four guys right here, professional, and make us a little money. Help us break down college football today. Hi, guys. How are you today? We have Mr. Louis Diamond. We have Tony Gullidge. And over there, we have Chip Chirimbus. And, of course, Mr. Ross Benjamin. You all probably saw Thursday Night Football. The shellacking that the Indianapolis Colts, the first place Indianapolis Colts, did to the Tennessee Titans at Tennessee. And I heard this rumor that every one of you got this pick correct. Is that true?
Quite possibly.
That's why we're here.
Louis Steiner, what did you learn? What was that?
We nailed it. We nailed the Thursday night game. Listen, every time that we line up, it's money, guys. Even I was nervous going in, but we lined up, and it was money. Good job, guys. Good job.
Tony Gullidge, what did you learn from yesterday and Wednesday and Tuesday? Because we haven't been here for a few days. Long sleep.
Just learn to keep trusting the process, guys. Follow what you know. NFL's not an easy sport to negotiate. It takes experience, and with us great group of guys that we got here, I think we got what it takes to keep picking winners. So I'm just looking forward to it. And last night was a great call by all of us. I think I called the total score 27-23, so we can go the block punt, added a touchdown, and then the Tennessee. So basically, I called a 50-point total, and it ended on 51, which is pretty close to number. I think we all did a great job with that game yesterday. So let's try to do it again today.
I learned that you went on YouTube to learn how to tie a double Windsor knot on your beautiful tie.
That is correct. Hey, I'm going double Windsor all day now, guys. Not the little skinny knot, the big fat ones now. All right, double Windsor all day, every day.
All right, that's a good thing. You learn. You know how to follow directions. Ross Benjamin, what did you learn, my man?
I learned that the Tennessee Titans, I equate them to the AFC version of the Seattle Seahawks. An impressive record on paper, but hardly a team that you want to make a futures bet on to win the Super Bowl, simply because they have a dynamic offense like Seattle. They can move the ball, although they got shut down in the second half by Indy last night, and they can't stop anybody. Specifically, their pass defense, terrible, like Seattle's. I think I know Seattle's number 32 in total defense. Tennessee's somewhere around 29 or 30. If you can't improve upon that area of your game, and at this point, it's hard to believe either team will. Neither one of those teams are going anywhere, and that's what I learned about last night's game.
Yeah, wasn't it a week ago where everyone was ripping apart Phillip Rivers, and then all of a sudden he plays exactly what the doctor ordered Tennessee Titans secondary and puts up some pretty damn good numbers? What did you learn, Mr. Chip?
Well, I learned a couple of things. I learned that Major League Baseball has sunken to incredible depths, that they will give the manager that made the worst call in World Series history gets Manager of the Year, and that the Major League Baseball is going to allow a man on second base in extra innings from now on. And that the last thing is that Rookie of the Year hit 262. 262. So their version of Home Run Derby, that's a great player. Rookie of the Year in American League hits. The most important thing I learned is that the Geriatric Center here in Las Vegas has donated 3 walkers for Cam Newton so that he won't be tripping over those yard stripes. That's it. He's done.
I learned that you do not pick against our professional sports handicappers right here on Better Center Live. Let's take 1 minute to highlight these gentlemen. Now,
The line was very low for a team like Tennessee, and what the bookmaker was possibly telling me is that the Titans may have lost their mojo.
Everybody overlooks the fact that their defense has been very vulnerable, Louis. They're giving up like 395 yards per game. And in my estimation, the urgency and desperation lies with Indianapolis as well. So I'm going with Indianapolis here over the Tennessee Titans on Thursday Night Football.
I just love the way this sets up for the Colts bouncing back. I think they're the stronger team. I thought the line was soft. Now it's moving back toward the Colts.
We got an alignment, gentlemen. It does look to be Indianapolis should be the play. The Colts are 5-0-1 against the number after a double-digit home loss. 12-4-1 against the number on Thursday nights. Hopefully we got a nice recap reel for you tomorrow with a solid winner.
how was that, Louis Diamond? Was that a nice highlight reel? 4 out of 4?
That was the shiznit, baby. That's it. That is
Yeah.
it. We got this down, guys. We got this down, and hopefully people will subscribe because they won't watch the highlight reel. They'll make the money and then enjoy the highlight reel inside their money because we're hitting it. Awesome job, guys. Proud to be a part of it.
Let's pick some more winners, guys. Game number 1, the Battle of South Florida. Florida Atlantic at Florida International. Now, this is a type of school, because I grew up in South Florida, where you said, Mommy, I don't want to go to a junior college. I'm smarter than this. But you wanted to stay home with Mommy. So you went to FAU and Boca, or you went to Miami, FIU. Florida Atlantic, -9.5. That's what it opened at, still at -9.5. Over under 42.5, which is now currently 41. FAU comes in at 3-1, FIU 0-3, and the only loss for those Florida Atlantic University Owls was at Marshall, an undefeated Marshall team, I might add. Let's start with Tony Gullidge. What do you think for game number 1?
Interesting matchup. Man, I tell you what bothers me for wanting to take the favorite here is they just don't score a lot of points. It makes it really scary to lay 9.5 points here. I will note, FIU is pretty bad, but they played Liberty pretty close opener, and they haven't really got even the Jacksonville State loss. Jacksonville State is a team that hung with Florida State the entire first half on the road in Tallahassee. I'm going to probably say I'm not betting this game, but now that we're discussing it, I'm going to have an opinion. I'm going to take the home underdog here just based on the cosmetics. And you would think the line would be a little higher than it is personally. So I'm going to take the underdog as an opinion.
FIU has not played since October 23rd. Maybe we should take that into consideration. Chip Chirimbus, what are your thoughts for game number 1?
Well, you used the letter F, and I think that might have a lot to do with this game because I'm really totally effed up with who to take here. And this goes back to that old saying we have, you should never wager on a team that you can play for. And both these teams don't leave a lot to be desired. I really have nothing here. This isn't my type of game. I like a game where it's more competitive action and where there's going to be a little bit more public money. So I'm going to pass on this one.
Yes, this isn't your type of game. You like more like MAC football, where it's very competitive in cold weather, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're not insulting the MAC, are you, Chip?
No, I never meant to.
Okay. I know you didn't. Ross Benjamin, what are your thoughts?
Oh boy, this game stinks, Brad. That's my thoughts. Based on the 3 games on the board, why would you want to watch this game unless you have a son that's playing for either one of these teams? Here's the thing. I met my beautiful other half in Boca Raton when I lived there for 5 years. Florida Atlantic was in Boca Raton. Having said that, this is a rivalry game, so I'm going to have to go against my former city where I lived, and I think just because it's a rivalry game, no other reason, if you put that proverbial gun to my head, I would take the home underdog in this situation, but certainly not a game that I'm going to use. and certainly not in a game that I would advise any of the listeners or viewers to use as well.
Very, very understandable. Now, growing up in South Florida, I thought it would be impossible for either one of these universities to have football teams. I can't believe it, but they have football, and we're getting that kind of football. Lewis Diamond, go ahead, take it away.
Well, I went to spring break back in the 80s. So, FIU, baby. No, that's about as strong as this game is. So if there's one thing that we have done here is we've aligned on stay the hell away from the game, guys. But if you're looking for some nuggets on the game, I can give you a few trends. Florida Atlantic has covered 8 out of their last 9 road games. Props for Tony G over there. They also are 21-7 their last 28 turf games, 8-3 their last 11 overall, 12-5 in the conference. So good numbers for a nice dog. While the Panthers come in 3-10 their last 3-7 their last 10 games overall. But the Owls, FAU, 0-7 on Friday night games. It's garbage, guys. Let's move on to the next one.
We will move on to the next one. That's game number 2. You got that, Eugene? Iowa at Minnesota. This game opened up Iowa -1.5. Currently -3.5. Over under also moved, opening at 55.5, which is currently 58. Iowa 1-2, Minnesota 1-2, but Iowa's coming off a big victory against Michigan State. Chip, please start.
Yeah. And when season opened, I think a lot of people were gravitating toward Minnesota. They were playing against Michigan, and they got waylaid there. And they finally put up a big victory against me last week against Illinois. Michigan State, I mean, they haven't shown too much. We have much confidence in this one. I think the gravitation here is going to be toward Iowa. They are favored on the road. They won the last 4 in the series. I think the Golden Gophers may rise to the occasion here. They may put it together. I think they have some kind of trophy between these two schools, and Iowa's had it for 5 years now, and I think it's time to give it up.
Minnesota had a tough loss at Maryland, but they did get beat pretty good against Michigan. So let's go with Ross. What do you think?
Yeah, again, a game I'm not going to use, but when you look at this, Minnesota, if this was the opening game of the year in the Big Ten, I believe that Minnesota would have been a favorite in this game, but much has changed since then. Minnesota's coming off a win, but I can't stop and think about the 2 losses they had, which both losses came against teams that you would have probably picked them to win the game before the season started. The line jumps right out at me. Why is Iowa a 3.5-point favorite? The books ain't that nice. If I had to make a play here, I would probably lay to 3.5 and buy it down to 3. And take the Iowa Hawkeyes. But again, another game I'm not going to use, Brad.
2 1-2 teams. Lewis Diamond Jr., the first. Come on. Am I hearing teaser?
A junior, that's the first. I'll tell you what, I just got all them records broken here. No, I don't see the teaser here. I actually, I'm tending to agree with Ross. And I'm sure I don't want to take Tony's thunder away, but Iowa as the road favorite. We hammered that a couple weeks ago, and we paid a little bit. So this, I think, may be that opportunity to get that Iowa as a road favorite back. And the road team 3-1-1 against the spread, but I think Iowa's 5 straight up wins, and you got kind of a short number. And I got to lean with Iowa, and I'll lean with a little bit on the under, but more so on Iowa.
All right. Fair enough. Gullidge, Big Ten football tonight. Please take it away.
Yeah, Lou mentioned it earlier. I actually went back and did some counting on this, guy. So I went and did some digging in the numbers. Prior to that loss at Purdue against Purdue on the road, Iowa had won 20 straight games where they were the road favorites, and we're like, I believe I counted 17-3 against the spread, so 85%. So they dropped one. We got them last week. I loved Iowa. They produced. They beat, Michigan State. Going back to last year, they simply can't move the ball. They're offensively inept. Just if you can power Michigan State, it doesn't even take much to basically blow them over like a feather, and that's what Iowa did. Didn't really turn the ball over, and they crushed them. I think Iowa's the better team. Chip mentioned at the beginning of the season, a lot more was expected out of Minnesota. They dropped this 17-point favorite at the Maryland game. Really disappointing, especially when you consider that Michigan lost that first game. Really doesn't look good now, right? The way they got beat by Michigan, and we've seen what Michigan is. Harbaugh's probably not coming back, so that's not a good loss at all. So I actually love Iowa in this spot. I think this is a great spot. Like I say, for me, who's backed them as a road favorite for several years and done well, getting nipped in that first game, I'm ready to fire back at it. And I got the momentum of Iowa playing well. And I'm not really going to give Minnesota much credit at all for that win against Illinois. I think that was garbage. I think Illinois is what Illinois is, pretty bad team. So I really love the play here. Take Iowa tonight.
I would definitely buy your picks today, Tony. Double wins or not, the glasses. You look like one of those smart kids. You look like a CPA, that you're good with numbers. I would buy your – that was the best thing you could do to dress like this. Now you're playing the part. Good job. I like that. And guess where we're going? The man on the street, Tony Cusimano. He's in the dog pound. Did you figure out where that is? That's next. Better Center Live.
Thank you, Better Center. Tony C. here, your man on the street, and I am in the city of Cleveland, Ohio, a.k.a. the Mistake on the Lake at First Energy Stadium, home of the Cleveland Browns, where this Sunday they will play host to the 2-6 Houston Texans. So the 2-6 Houston Texans at the 5-3 Cleveland Browns. And just to bring things up to speed here, how did Houston get here? Last week they pick up a road win at division rival Jacksonville. That's how they got to 2-6. The Cleveland Browns, in the meantime, they had a bye week last week to kind of let the bumps and bruises and aches and pains heal. They've got an extra week to heal and watch a little film, because I tell you, they let one slip away 2 weeks ago at home here. They lost to the Las Vegas Raiders 16-6. Couldn't get any offense generated at all. And I guess you're going to have days like that here in the NFL. But when you're at home, those are games you have to win. And I've been saying this about the Cleveland Browns Better Center since the start of the season. Almost every week with this team, it's a must-win situation. If they want to keep up with the quote-unquote Joneses, if they want to keep up with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the 8-0 Pittsburgh Steelers, they want to keep up with the 6-2 Baltimore Ravens, in which they're one game back. So how do they do that? They're in a must-win situation every week here. Baltimore 6-2, Browns are 5-3. So again, the Browns have put themselves in a must-win situation here. However, I do like the Browns coming in at -3. Over and under is 51. The only question I really have here about Baker Mayfield and company is, Better Center, what do you guys think back there at the studio? The line is -3. The Browns are 5-3. Houston 2-6. And I'm thinking, shouldn't this line be maybe 4.5 or at least 4? Now, it doesn't mean it isn't going to trickle up a little bit to 3.5, but it just seems to me that this line should be around 4.5 or 5. Houston does have a little momentum. Deshaun Watson and company, they've got a little bit of momentum coming off that road win. But as we all know, Better Center, it's very difficult to pick up back-to-back road wins in the NFL. It's tough to do. I think the Browns will bounce back at home this week. That 3 just seems a little fishy. And the old saying here, if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. What does the crew at Better Centers think about all this? So, Tony C., your man on the street, I'm signing off from a Mistake on the Lake here. First Energy Stadium, home of the Cleveland Browns. I've got the legendary, Otto Graham in the background here. As you can see him there, the Hall of Famer. What do you guys think? -3, 51 to the over and under. Texas, the Houston Texans at the Browns. Take it away, guys.
Holy shit. What do we think?
What do you guys think? What do you think? One more minute. What do you guys think? So, no, seriously, what do you guys think? Does anyone have anything to say?
Yeah, I'll jump in, I guess.
Please do.
I'll jump in. Okay. I actually believe. I think he said Cleveland. So they're all that, and I believe this is Cleveland's big game this week. They have an inferior opponent, and they've had some time. Chubb has a good chance to be in the lineup, and I think this is going to be an elevated game for Cleveland. I don't like that 3.5, but I think it's going to cruise past the 3.5. It's already cruised from 2 up to, it's really now a 3.5. So I don't like the 3.5. Obviously, I'm going to have Cleveland in my teasers, but I think Cleveland blows them out this Sunday.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah, please go ahead, Ross.
Yeah, just a side note: the weather conditions in Cleveland on Sunday, the forecast, 28-mile-an-hour winds in Cleveland. So that's definitely going to affect each team's passing game, and you can see where that number, that total, has come down as a result. So that's more of a weather related move as opposed to a money move. So just something to keep in mind if you're contemplating using a total in that game.
Tony or Chip, you guys want to jump in?
I'm not sure.
I'll make a comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Chip.
All right, thanks. I'm going to be short. I thought the line was kind of shallow, was kind of short. Houston of course, has been an abomination this year. They finally put up a win against, who was it, Jacksonville? Maybe they're putting it together because to go 16 weeks and stay in the doldrums that entire time it doesn't happen. These teams usually get better, and unless you're the Jets, of course. But I'm thinking that Houston might be. I have a small lean toward them. I don't think I would use this game at all. Both these teams are, shall we say, less than stellar.
Mr. CPA, you had something to add?
I just kind of what Chip was pointing to there is kind of tricky from a handicapping point of view. It points to Cleveland, okay? After the other Ross mentioned a couple things, and it does point to Cleveland here. But I'm skeptical of them, and wow, I just couldn't use this game. If you're going to say handicapping wise, yes, Cleveland, but the suspicious gambler wise, I would be more with Chip here on the Houston. It's probably not a game I'm going to use, and it's a tough game to bet on, actually, I think.
All right, that leaves us with game number 3, our last game tonight. That's East Carolina, the Pirates, right? That's your home state there, Tony Gullidge.
Way
at
out
Cincinnati.
On the East Coast. Party school way out east on the ocean.
Oh, is it a party school?
Yes,
every school in North Carolina is a party school.
No, it's not. East Carolina is the school you went to if you couldn't get into any actual academic school. That and
Right.
Appalachian State and Boone. That's your two. Party school in the mountains, party school on the beach was East Carolina. Party school all
Got
day.
it.
Anybody could get in there.
Okay, well, Cincinnati's undefeated. This game opened up minus 25.5. Now it's minus 27. Over under 55.5. Currently 55. East Carolina's 1-5. Not a good team. Their only W came against, of course, my alma mater, the University of South Florida Bulls. Pretty stinky, but Cincinnati 6-0, beat a couple ranked teams, Army and SMU. Does that mean anything to you, Tony?
I tell you what, I've been rolling with Cincinnati. They got me the one time I had SMU against them, and they showed me something. I didn't make the mistake then. I've gotten all that back plus some. Cincinnati crushed for me last week, which I thought, appeared to be a really slumping spot in the schedule against Houston. So they get these back-to-back crappy teams to play. They crushed the first one. I'm going to step back here, and actually I'm going to put a small play on East Carolina. I'm going to basically hedge my token. The thing I'll note for East Carolina here is that they do put up points. Their defense is horrible, but they will at some point in this game, I think, get to 20 points. They've scored 20 in every game at least minimum. So, when you start talking about 27.5, now you're putting the pressure on Cincinnati to score damn near 50 to cover. I think that's a lot because at some point they're probably going to come off the gas pedal and put the backup quarterback in, with a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter. So not a big play, but I would definitely be cautious of just dumping money on Cincinnati. This is a danger red flag. The red lights are blaring here, guys. I think you missed your chance last week to get an easy Cincinnati win. I recommend a small play on East Carolina. Definitely avoid what I think is a trap on the Bearcats tonight.
Is 27.5 points too much, Chip?
It's a lot of points, but this East Carolina squad has only won one AAC game, conference game, in each of the last 4 seasons. They have a new coach. Houston came over from James Madison, and they have a quarterback that can throw. This lefty, I was impressed with him, even though they only ran for, I think it was 31 yards last week against Tulane. Their offense is lacking. Cincinnati, if they come to play, can just shut this team down. Their defense is one of the tops in the nation. I think they're only allowing 11 or 12 points per game. It's not my type of game, laying 28 points or even taking 28 points. And I think they'll be betting Cincinnati before this game is over. The Bearcats, for real, don't know if East Carolina belongs on the field with them. They have no play for me.
Ross, are you playing?
Hey, you know what, Tony? You broke my heart here. You burst my bubble. I applied to 5 four-year schools when I got out of high school, and the only one that accepted me was East Carolina. So
There you
was
go.
too far for me to travel. I ended up at a junior college in Batavia, New York, called Tennessee Community. I got a mass communications degree, and then I became a sports handicapper. So I guess East Carolina deserved me if I went there. In any event, look at Cincinnati entered last week number 6 in the country. Okay. Their last 3 games against 3 pretty good AAC teams in number 19 SMU, previously ranked Memphis, and then Houston, who's average, but they're a team that can knock people off if you're not on your A game. And they won all 3 of those games by 28 plus points. How did they get rewarded? They went from number 6 in the country to number 7 this week. So my point being is this: they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. So if those weren't enough style points, they're going to really try to make a statement tonight, in my opinion. This is my free pick on video tonight. And I'm going to use the Bearcats. And by the way, that's a Bearcats defense that's allowing 11 points per game this season. Okay. I know East Carolina scores points, but they haven't faced a defense of this caliber all year long. East Carolina or Cincinnati wins this game 42-10, somewhere around there. Lay the points with Cincinnati. That's my free pick on Friday the 13th, Brad.
Oh, that's right. It's Friday the 13th. All right. Louis Bag of Diamonds. Do you have any diamonds for this game?
Absolutely.
That's Jason Voorhees. Yes.
I wholeheartedly agree with Ross tonight. So absolutely. East Carolina last year they took them to the 4th quarter. They were winning 40-28 before Cincinnati came back with the big 4th quarter to outscore them 18-3 to wind up winning the game. So East Carolina's got a little taste in their mouth, but they haven't played anything like this team this year, and it's going to show. It's going to show. So if you don't want to lay the big wood, then you want to bet them in the first quarter. They come out blazing. Guns blazing, -7, first quarter. If you got to lay 7.5, I'd still roll with it. So I expect Cincinnati to steamroll tonight. My opinion.
Steamroll. Let's do the most interesting play of the day if you have one. Louis, since you just were talking, might as well start with you.
My most interesting play of the day today it's got to be Cincinnati first quarter. Look for them to come out of the gate with guns blazing, just like I just said.
Chip, most interesting play?
Well, I'm not too crazy on Friday night's menu out there. I think the only game that I feel like I can look at and see is the Iowa-Minnesota game. And here I have conflicting trends and conflicting opinions coming from the experts on this panel. I'm taking Iowa, laying them on the road because of their fantastic road record, and Minnesota getting off to a slow start, looking terrible, getting crushed by Michigan, and yet being a home dog here. I might take the Golden Gophers.
Brad, can I jump
Ross
in real quick?
Benjamin.
Yes. I'm not on the weekend, so I'm going to use a Saturday game as my most interesting play today, if that's okay with Louis Diamond, the first junior. Boy,
Doesn't matter. It's
what
okay
an
with me.
oxymoron.
Go.
Wow, that's an oxymoron. Notre Dame -13.5 against Boston College. You know what? They've been hearing all week long. The last time they hosted a number 1 team was back in '92 when they knocked off Florida State in the following week, and they catapulted themselves to number one. The following week, they get upset as a double-digit favorite against Boston College. Well, similar situation. They knocked off number one at home last week, and ironically, they're playing Boston College. Well, you know what? A lot of people on Boston College this week. I'm not one of them. These kids have been hearing this all week long, and I think Notre Dame has proven themselves. I think Ian Book is one of the best college quarterbacks in the nation right now, college being the key word. And I'm going to be using Notre Dame here, lay to 13.5 against Boston College.
Most interesting play of the day for Tony Gullidge is who?
Most interesting play. I'm going to go with Iowa. I guess me and Chip can have our own little personal battle tonight. Most interesting play. I just wanted to mention real quick that we're going to get that shopping cart up on the website, bettorcenter.com. And I have a really big play tomorrow. I love it. It's a nationally ranked team. I think they're in a tricky spot. So make sure to go check the website out and give us a little love for the work we put in on the show. So Iowa for me is the most interesting play. Be sure to check out the website and let's cash some tickets tonight, guys.
All right, guys, we're out of time here. Bettor Center Live on bettorcenter.com. Remember, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. On the weekends, Louis Diamond hosts 7 a.m. But sometimes I make an appearance Sunday, and that could possibly happen if the time is changed to 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That would be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for guys like Ross Benjamin over there in Rochester, New York. Anyways, have a wonderful day. Special thanks to Eugene, Spotlight Film Productions, Louis Diamond, Ross Benjamin, Chip Chirimbis, Tony Gullidge. And before we go out, Tony, one more time, can you please give me the Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees breathing one more time? Oh, you must be muted. There it is. All right, guys, happy Friday the 13th. Have a great day. Be careful. Stay away from black cats or guys.